Hey guys, it's Nick. Welcome to Space Education. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 most common errors you guys made in the writing task 1. Okay, so after watching this video, I hope you guys could practice trying to avoid making these kind of mistakes in the future IELTS writing task 1, because if you keep making these kind of errors, you're never going to get the score you want to get. Okay, so let's go and have a look. As you guys may know, all the writing essays are evaluated based on the following 4 factors: task response, coherence, cohesion, lexical resources, and grammatical range and accuracy. So in today's video, I'm going to cover mostly about 3rd and 4th items, and in the future, I'm going to make another video talking about the most common mistakes you guys made in the 1st and 2nd items. Okay, so let's have a look of the criteria of IELTS writing. So in the grammatical range and accuracy part, we can clearly see that if you want to have a 7 or even 7 plus band on the grammatical range and accuracy item, you should be able to produce frequent error-free sentences. So that's why avoiding making this kind of mistakes is really important, because if you guys keep making this kind of a common mistakes in your writing essays, you're not going to be able to produce frequent error-free sentences, which would make it really difficult for you guys to reach 7 plus overall band on your writing script. Okay, so let's have a look of the first mistake you guys made. Okay, so the first mistake is about tenses. Okay, so I can't remember how many times I had to remind my students of their properly choice of tenses, because you guys made a lot of mistakes in your writing script in writing task 1, and which is like killing your writing task 1 essays, because writing task 1 is all about description, about charts and graphs and pictures, and right? So describing times and periods and changes is something we would always do when finishing the writing task 1. So what I do prior to writing in the first task is, so I'm going to do identify all the tenses in the graph, making sure I have clearly identified all the tenses or the possible tenses that's going to be included in the chart. For example, like this chart, we can clearly see that at least the 2 different tenses will be included in our writing script. The first one, of course, will be past tense, and the second one will be the future tense, because the starting time will be 1940 and the ending year will be 2040, right? So make sure you have a clear understanding of what kind of tenses you're going to be using in the writing script, in the writing task 1. And then what I also do after writing the script is I'm going to have a quick review of what I just wrote, making sure I didn't make any mistakes in terms of the uses of tenses. Okay, so but I know that for most of you guys, maybe you're still confused about the choice of tenses, the concepts of tenses and things like that. So in today's video, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to use different tenses, because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to only give you a very easy conclusion for you to understand and remember using different tenses that are often used in the writing task 1. So basically, just simply remember 3 most important tenses are going to be used in writing task 1. The first one is present tense. It is often used in the opening paragraph. And the second one would be the past tense, which is our star tense in here, because we're going to use it often on and off throughout our writing script. So make sure you use past tenses, because most of the figures and most of the charts and figures are actually the data from the past. So that's why we're going to use past tenses all over in your writing task 1. Okay, in some cases, we're also going to be able to use future tenses. So although the cases like that are not so many, but if you spot there's any time that is actually in the future, so which means that you have to use future tenses in your writing task 1. Okay, so that will be the mistake 1. Okay, so the mistake number 2 is actually the uses of preposition. So what the sentences I listed here is actually just the tip of the iceberg. Actually, you guys made a lot of mistakes in the use of prepositions. But today, I'm going to only cover some of the most common problematic usage of the prepositions. So let's have a look. In the first sentence, many of my students tend to write things like this: since 2003 to 2010, which is actually problematic because we cannot use the word since like this. We can only use since plus a time. So in here, you can only say since 2003. And instead of saying since 2003 to 2010. And similarly, in the second sentence, a lot of students wrote something like from 2003 and 2010, and which is also problematic because it's kind of like a collocation, meaning that the word from has to go with the verb to, not and. Meaning that if you use from and, this is wrong. This is grammatically wrong because English doesn't allow you using the word from with an and. So don't use from and, instead use from to. And similarly, some students also tend to write between two, which is also wrong because we don't use between like this. It's also a kind of a really important common collocation in the prepositions in which you're going to use between 2003 and 2011 instead of using between 2003 to 2011. So those three pairs of prepositions are something that you guys most commonly made mistakes on. Okay, so in the following three sentences, I'm going to show you another way of using prepositions, which is to use verb plus prepositions. During the progress of writing task 1, you guys gonna use a lot of words to describe the progress of changes and make comparisons, right? So that in that cases, we're gonna use a lot of words like going up, going down, increase, decrease, plus a prepositions. So always remember some different verbs only come with some certain pair of prepositions, meaning that you can't use it in some other way around. Okay, so for example, if you guys are trying to describe a going up progress or going down progress, you can either say the figure of private cars increased from 200 million to 300 million. So in here, we use the word like increase plus from to phrase. Okay, so you can also do some other way around by saying increased by. So instead of saying from to, which is kind of like a progress, you can also describe the change in terms of the difference. So that would be another way of rewording this kind of sentences. So remember, when you use increase and go up and go down, decrease, this kind of words, always remember to come with either from to or by. Okay, so another situation we're gonna try to describe the changes in the writing task 1 is to describe fluctuations, which means the numbers will be staying around a certain number or certain figure for a period of time. So in this case, we're gonna use the word fluctuate. Okay, so the proper preposition that goes with the word fluctuation or fluctuate are either at or around. So in this case, you can say the amount of private cars fluctuated at 150 million, or you can say fluctuated around 150 million. Okay, so these are the most common, the most popular combinations or collocations of prepositions. So pay attention to it, making sure you don't make any more mistakes on that.